Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of TokenGames Podcast. I'm your host and sometimes referee, Zach Pearson, and today I'm joined by the officer of arcane gaming, the police of power, one Matthew Cops.
Hey, how you doing?
I don't know who that reference is, but it feels so familiar. All right. Well, today's topics are pretty light, or rather, they're long, but it'll be a short podcast because it's just the two of us. All right, so let's get into it. Tax evasion and legalized loopholes, and the companies utilizing them.
Gaming companies.
Well, those two. But yeah, we're mostly going to focus on those. How do we feel about them? Should there be more or less money going to the people that make the games because of these loopholes? Or do you feel something like government regulation needs to step in and pay attention to right some of these wrongs and potentially get back pay, which is something that can be done from this company, or make them, use it on their employees? Now, a little bit of history on this or explanation. And this is the TLDR because, well, even though this podcast is usually an hour, we got some short attention span motherfuckers out there. Activision, more specifically, created its own tax haven, which is a rarity. Most places find a tax haven and they utilize it. No, they engineered one. I believe it was Dutchland or Sweden, where they had a law. They had sent in a lobbyist to lobby their government to give them a law stating that tax money or taxable earnings go to their home country's government instead of directly to their government. Now, eventually, over time, this did in fact happen. But here's the thing: we already had a law that stated foreign sales of our media, tax information or tax money goes to that country. So what this did was create basically a never-ending cycle of canceling out where the tax money goes, so the company gets to keep it. In fact, the company averages an extra $300 million off of that one tax haven. And since that's not even the only one, it's estimated that besides the fact that they get most of their revenue and income from DLC, over 50% of it as of this year and last year, they're getting over $1 billion back due to tax havens. And they're not the only company or company that deals with games doing this. Microsoft is also a culprit of this as well. But their tax loophole, at least more specifically the one in the case of Activision and Sweden and or Dutchland, I can't remember which country it is. Man, if you figure it out before I do, let me know. They basically took it from being illegal to making it legal. But by whose standards is it legal? American standards? Or is it legal by Swedish and or Dutch standards? Or is it just a literal loophole and no one has defined if this is a good or bad, or rather legal, illegal thing to be doing? They literally created a gray area and they're benefiting from it. Now, that being said, Matt, what's your feelings on this? Right or wrong? And do you think it can or can't be fixed? Why or why not?
Far as I see it, it is definitely wrong. If you're intentionally avoiding paying any kind of taxes, then, well, you're defeating the purpose of the taxes, which is to collect money for a country for payment of public services. At least, ideally. Admittedly, over in Holland...
There we go.
Yeah, Holland is a country. As far as I know, things there are pretty nice. So, them not getting taxes, you're screwing over the people. That shit ain't right.
Okay.
If there's there's of course limits that one should go with taxes. It can't solve every single problem. But so long as the taxes are reasonable, then I see no reason why they shouldn't be paid. These companies using these various shell companies to move their money into various other countries where you can, known as the tax havens, among them Switzerland, Holland, and I hadn't thought Ireland would be one of them, but apparently it is. Yeah, I don't think that's just right. You shouldn't be able to just, take all this money from these consumers of this country, and no, I'm not going to pay any taxes to the country, and this money is just going to go into our little sealed bank accounts in these tax haven countries. That shit ain't right. And actually, with the Activision thing, they're obtaining various games that have a lot of in-game, purchases and the like. What was that term called?
What term? Term for what?
For in-game purchases and stuff. And
microtransactions.
Microtransactions, yes, sorry. I had a derp there for a moment. Yes, microtransactions are most of what Activision's getting that money from. It's not DLC, really. But, semantics. One is much worse than the other. I'm honestly wondering how much longer until Activision is just, we own all these companies. Oh, yeah, they make games occasionally, but all we care about is all the money from the microtransactions. As far as I see it, microtransactions are one of the cancers that's killing gaming, but feel free to disagree or agree. That's pretty much my say on it. That shit ain't right.
Okay, so you are in the no category, and there's nothing wrong with that. Now let me ask you something though. How do you think this can be fixed? Also, I'm gonna give you a hint. The answer isn't just, hey, let this country know that this is happening. That doesn't necessarily fix jack shit. But yeah, go ahead.
No, it doesn't. What they need to do is have someone step in, some sort of authority figure, or perhaps, businesses that, asking businesses that would disagree with this, who are likely benefiting from it, to oppose it. They're not gonna turn off the gravy train. But someone is going to need to step in and change this disgusting loophole. Maybe the IRS could petition Congress to step in and change this. Tell the lobbyists, hey, you're creating loopholes, that shit ain't right. Admittedly, what I'm asking for is probably a bit too much, though.
Not necessarily. It's more a matter of who's approached, or rather what country is approached. All right. Well, as always, I appreciate your honesty. Now, I guess that leaves my opinion. Well, firstly, I would just like to take this time to say, Activision, as a company, you've made what you consider good games. And you've been doing such for a long time, or at least you've been paying people and licensing shit out to do such for a long time. Let me say this. It's obvious by now you are no longer run by people that care about the industry or the well-being of others. You're just money-grubbing, shameless whores. And don't get me wrong, I'm not one of those people who are anti-corporation. A corporation's job is to make money. Duh! What I'm saying is, there are ways to go about it that make you look a certain way. And in the case of Activision, they truly feel like it truly feels like there is absolutely no soul left in that company. It feels like all they do, and I do mean all they do or all they want to do, is fucking cheat and extort as much out of you as possible. Activision's name always, let me not even say that. Activision name consistently, that's a better word, comes up in situations or things that involve quite literally almost any level of BS that is tied to the game industry. Like Well, for one thing, overworking employees to the point where it's destroying their social lives or their ability to parent. AKA crunching. Google it. Not even bullshitting. Crunching is very, very common in the video game industry, or rather in the AAA industry. But I'm gonna tell you this right now. It's an easy fix. Just no one wants to do it. No one wants to speak up for their own damn selves. And it's hard for me to feel sorry for some of these people who work on games, and I really want to. So instead I end up just feeling sorry for their kids. Oh, hey, daddy, mommy has to go to this job that they stopped liking within their first week of working here, because not only does it make them miserable, they pretty much can't help or aid their spouse in, something as important as raising your child right. I'm telling you right now, if everyone in the video game industry went on strike that actually designs games, these companies would worship the ground they walk on and kiss their asses and suck them off to get them back. Because first and foremost, these big corporation shareholders and all the CEOs and shit, they do not hang out with anybody on the lower level. Some of them don't even visit the same floor as the game is designed on. Yes, this is actually a fact. But the problem is that, well, we have too many cowards. And I know that sounds mean or disrespectful to the people going through this shit, but no, that's exactly what it is. When you have cowards, and cowards make up the majority of an industry being abused, you're not going to fix the problem. I'll give you a prime example, and this is when I thought those anime people who always try to start shit with me, even though I tell them all the time, look, I'm not going to come at you. I will let you live in your little bubble that makes you think everything in the anime industry specifically is perfect. And by the way, I just want to point out, when I say anime, I mean the actual definition, not the shit people keep making up. A cartoon that is made in Japan. That's all it means. It is not an art style. It is any cartoon that is made in Japan, period. They have a situation now where people are raising money in America and other countries to go to Japan to help animators pay their own rent. Because these people are working almost 18 to 20 hours a day, but making so little they can barely afford to pay their own rent. So what they're doing is they're letting them fucking work on cartoon shows, and they're aiding it. Like, they're literally aiding and feeding into the cycle. So now it's become what I like to call Walmart effect, which is really fucked up. So long story short, TLDR, after the creator of Walmart left the company, they immediately went against everything he was fucking doing. Like, immediately went against everything he was fucking doing. So they decided to pay people as little as fucking possible. And then they would tell people basically, hey, go get a fucking food stamp card. Their own fucking employees.
Yup.
That's
pretty
where that,
fucked up shit.
For those of you who watch the Boondocks or seen it, that's where that whole little side section of the guy saying, me and my family, we don't have much, but when we can, we give what we can to the Walmart and BET workers, because they weren't getting paid. They were barely even getting paid minimum wages in the state where minimum wage was. Because after taxes, minimum wage ain't minimum wage. I don't know if you know that or not. So they would always end up in these situations where they quite literally could get very, very fucking easily fucked over. And that's exactly what the fuck would happen. So basically, it's the same situation all over again. But this time, it's not just in America, it's in multiple countries. And a lot of these developers won't even acknowledge or admit that it's a thing. And the ones that do try to laugh it off or play it off like, oh no, it's nothing serious. We only make them work an extra hour or 2 hours a day. Well, if you do that for a project and you got them on a 10 to 12, sometimes 14-hour shift, they're spending more time at that company than they are anything the fuck else. Because one, transit. Average transit time in this country is around 1 hour and 15 minutes, both way combined. So that's coming and going. Now, if you got a 14, 15-hour shift, that they just put on you, and you don't get any days off because you have to make deadlines that you don't actually have to make. How the fuck would you feel? Those deadlines only exist because the companies want them to exist. Those deadlines only exist because no one goes to a shareholder and says, we can't do this without losing people or a drop in quality. Because those deadlines are only for distribution after they get the disc made. So if you move and wait till you finish and are satisfied with the quality product, guess what's not gonna fucking happen? Unhappy employees.
Ideally, yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I'm gonna say right now, Activision, you fucking wrong, but not in the traditional sense. Technically, and I do mean this technically, this loophole they engineered is not illegal. It technically is not illegal. But this ain't the only place they got a tax loophole. And do you know how much of that money is going to their fucking employees? Extra pay boost? No, damn near none of it. You know what they do? They do a pay bonus, which doesn't amount to shit or make up for the pain and suffering or emotional distress that they feel or is put on their family. It doesn't. It fucking doesn't. So I will say you are not doing anything illegal, but you are doing something immoral, or rather amoral. I should really Google amoral because I don't actually know the definition of amoral, but I feel like this is a situation where it could apply. But don't quote me on that. Now, that being said, as far as ways to possibly fix it, it's very simple. We need to have a very vague and ambiguous extortionism law. Literally a law that says, hey, guess what? If the United States government, or rather certain people in the United States government that aren't the Supreme Court, because obviously, well, we all know what happens when we get the majority GOP on the Supreme Court. They fuck it up for everybody, and they allow shit to happen that really shouldn't be fucking happening. Thank God Scalia's dead, and you know what I fucking said, and I don't regret it. Scalia fucked up a lot of shit. We know Bush cheated in his first election. We literally know. And then Scalia just says, hey, drop this shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Why are you the final say-so when we think someone cheated on our own goddamn election? But that's another rant for another time. And people like him pretty much paid to sell the fuck out. Literally, they're always gonna try to put them in positions of authority and power. It's not gonna stop unless the GOP stops existing. And for the record, no, that's not some type of thinly veiled threat for you dumbasses out there. I'm saying the party needs to be destroyed. Unlike people or matter, if you know the laws of destruction or laws of matter, something that is theoretical or only exists in an ideal state can actually be destroyed. You can destroy an organization if you remove people from it and you don't allow them to take the title that they wish to have. But I want extortion laws to be on an international scale, because we do have extortion laws. But the problem is that we don't have them on an international scale. And then I want our country to go over to their ambassador, let them know, hey, this is going on. Do you guys want to do something about it, or do you have any laws against this that they could be posthumously charged for? I think that's the right term. See, we have that in the military, and it's actually really depressing, and it's another reason you legit don't want to fucking do anything illegal. Fun fact: if you get arrested in the military, or if you commit a crime while you are a military servant, National Guard or active duty, you're gonna go to jail twice. You go to military jail, and after you're done, you go into regular to serve your regular sentence.
Huh.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, well, it's not heavily advertised, and it really should be. It could stop a lot of fuck-ups. So, hypothetically, let's say I rob a bank. I don't use real weapons. I didn't threaten nobody with a deadly weapon. I get 6-7 years because it's the first offense, and I show remorse, right? Guess what? I'm not going to that jail. I'm going to a military court where they're going to figure out what type of discharge they're going to give you. Pro tip, dishonorable discharge. Then after that, they're going to decide based on what I say if I'm going to fucking go or how long away I'm going to go for a military prison. Then after that prison sentence is over, I immediately get on a bus, go to a regular jail. Yeah, you really don't want to fuck up in the military. So, what was I about to say? No. That was pretty much it. That's what I feel like they can do or what they should do in order to fix this situation. But also, I do feel like the people that helped engineer this, because we actually know who they are, like their names are everywhere, who engineered this shit should do federal time. Also, shell companies should not be allowed to do business or be created or exist in United States of America citizens. It just shouldn't be allowed. The company that owns the licensing to Call of Duty and whatever the fuck else Activision does only has one employee. And that license isn't given out in America because that company only exists in Holland. But guess what? Their name, their logo, and identity is never mentioned anywhere on the box art or in the opening credits and animation of any Call of Duty game, for example. They're trying to hide on purpose because they know how this shit looks, because they know how it is. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. All right, on to our next topic, or I guess news topic. The Salt game, is it real? By which I mean, the Salt game, is it real? By which I mean Dragon Ball FighterZ Z, or Fighters, and Marvel vs. Capcom 4, also known as Marvel vs. Capcom Infinity. I don't know why I said that like fucking Colonel Sanders. But here's the thing. They have not said anything on paper stating that they are in any way, shape, or form after or trying to steal the quote-unquote Marvel vs. Capcom fan base. And there are plenty of fighting games that play similar enough to where they can share fans or they could have people that like both. But the closed beta original start date was the same day as the release of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinity. Furthermore, as per usual with anything on the internet has fanned the flames of war. So, people have created meme upon meme upon meme upon YouTube video upon meme showing Dragon Ball characters with the faces of the MVC and Dragon Ball FighterZ logo beating each other's ass and Dragon Ball FighterZ always winning or attaining a new level of power. Now, that's implied Salt, but that's not necessarily the company. Nobody at Arc System Works has came out and said, "Hey Marvel, coming for that ass. Key blast, we gonna spray that all up in your face. And ain't a damn thing you can do about it except go make some DLC, bitches." They haven't technically said that, but it's heavily implied. Now, okay. That being said, if memory serves, the beta opened up on the 26th. Well, sign-ups for the beta, let me rephrase that. Opened up on the 26th. And to my knowledge, there has still been no date change. But what they've been doing is not mentioning the date that they originally planned for, which is 48 hours, the 18th and 19th, and a public beta in January.
So next year.
Now, that being said, there's also a bit of an issue, and well, this could also be considered one of those situations where, you know, countries aren't paying attention, or plagiarism is allowed if it's from a different country, depending on how they look at it. And it kind of bothers me. Supposedly, and this is just a rumor right now, the composer for this Dragon Ball FighterZ game is Kenji Yamamoto. Now I know that name doesn't mean a lot or ring any bells, but do you have any experience with the Budokai series?
A bit.
Okay. Well, he was the composer for the Dragon Ball Budokai series, which did have some very catchy tunes. Here's the problem. Like 70% of the shit in there, he sampled and remixed and didn't credit or ask for licensing permission.
Oh dear.
Yeah. And he got away with it for 3 fucking games. But here's the thing. When they re-released it, I think in the PS3 or on the PS4, they just took his music out. But supposedly they're bringing this dude on for this game.
This could end badly.
I honestly can't tell. I honestly can't tell. So, because in the case of Dragon Ball, the least memorable thing is the music. Not to mention, a lot of Americans never even heard or don't even know who the original composer is and didn't hear the songs, because when Toonami got a hold of it, all the music was changed. All of the music was changed. There were situations where there wasn't even fucking music, and they just added music to it. Characters had theme songs that they didn't have before. So people have a completely different approach to it. And I can't remember that guy's name, but to his credit, he did a decent job. But he was American, and he worked on the show directly. But again, don't quote me on that. But let me ask you something. Do you think if they do get this guy again, that we might run into a situation where music gets edited or removed midway through owning the game via a patch or some shit because he stole it? Or do you think there might actually be some legit consequences? Because I don't know if you notice now, but some of these music people, they fucking up entire products, even though the only thing that they should be going after is the music. Case in point, that Alex chick who was going after all the music and doing DMCA takedowns online, even though people had permission to play the game and the songs that was in the games and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you foresee that possibly happening again with Dragon Ball FighterZ?
Considering the individual they have involved, I could see that happening. And it won't be pretty. Yeah. Although maybe they'll be able to rein him in. Keep him from plagiarizing.
Yeah, or either they're going to have to find a way to heavily monitor every track he makes, which is possible, but it's time consuming, which means it's money consuming. That kind of bothers me. Well, as far as me, again, this is a rumor, so I don't really have a direct opinion, but I think Arc System Works, I honestly feel like they don't actually know, because that's how it is in Japan. Like, when people rip off and imitate a character or make an alternate version of them to fucking put into a cartoon, video game, or any other popular media, they pretty much damn near don't care. Which is really fucked up. But at the same time, it's Japan. Their celebrities are so few and far between when they come out of their own country that if someone did that to them, they probably wouldn't even find out about it. Like, I challenge you to name 2 Japanese celebrities, legitimate celebrities, A tier or above, that are common knowledge or commonly known in America. Exactly.
Well, actually, I can think of... I can think of 2.
Okay, go ahead.
We got Hayao Miyazaki.
No.
I
said
he
actors.
Wouldn't count.
I said actors.
Oh, actors. Oh, okay. I thought you were just saying celebrities in general. In that case, I can't think of any. Most Japanese actors in Hollywood were in fact born in America.
And to top it off, very few of them are A tier or S tier. Or people assume they're Japanese and then they feel bad about it, so they start asking before they say anything. You'd be surprised how many people I met think Lucy Liu is Japanese, Jet Li is Japanese, Jackie Chan is Japanese. Like, no.
China?
Dude, that's how it is. No one can name or call off legitimate celebrities who are fucking Japanese and famous in this country. Hayao Miyazaki, yeah, he's like the only one, but also he's director, and like most directors, even when people like them, they don't actually know what they look like. I know a lot of people who love Guardians of the Galaxy do not know what James Gunn looks like.
That's a crime.
They don't even know that guy in the movie that's always with Yondu, his little sidekick, that's James Gunn's brother.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, but yeah, I'm not too sure about that one. On to our third topic. Well, actually, no, I didn't ask you. Sorry. Oh yeah. So, do you think that the rivalry or attended pouring salt on the butthurt wound by Dragon Ball fighters is intentional, or it's all just one big fat ass coincidence?
It's hard to say, really. A lot of people have very creative opinion of Capcom, to the point that some, such as myself,
I like how you phrase that.
We call them Crapcom, but I can see arguments for both sides. I personally don't think it's intentional, but if it does turn out to be intentional, I won't be too surprised. I'll just be maybe a little disappointed.
Sorry. Okay. Why would you be a little disappointed, though?
Because I thought better of them, and no, if it turns out that, yeah, they were doing it to pour some salt on a wound, then I feel like, well, I honestly thought better of you than that, but no, I guess not. Oh well. My own fault for trying to think they were better than me, kind of thing.
Fair enough. All right. Well, as far as me, I hate to say it because I always catch hell for this. I feel like it's a rumor, or rather, I just feel like more, and this makes him seem a little dickish, but I feel like Arc System Works just doesn't give a flying fuck what Capcom is doing. I don't think they hate them or they want to, be a rival. I think they legitimately don't give a fuck about them. I don't think this is a Street Fighter, King of Fighters situation. I think they literally just don't give a fuck that Marvel is coming out. That's what I feel. I feel like they don't give a shit. For one thing, say what you will about the beta test, but here's what people don't seem to understand. A lot of that shit just came out of the memes that were coming out. Not to mention, the games aren't coming out at the same time. In America, there's a 5-month gap between the beta test and the release of the game from Marvel. Not to mention, their game got announced almost a whole another 6 to 7 months after Marvel was announced. So real talk, I think it's just fans wanting a rivalry that's not going to be there. But it's really Capcom's fault too. Isn't everything their fault? Because Capcom took away what was basically a staple at that point. And then here comes Dragon Ball FighterZ with that staple, which was 3-on-3. Here's what's gonna piss me off though. I swear to God, if they make me pay money to get a 3-on-3 mode, I shit you not. I swear to God, if they make me pay money to get a 3-on-3 mode, I'm not going to sell that game. I'm going to take the disc and I'm going to personally destroy it. And if I find that game used and it's cheap and I got enough money on me, I'm going to buy that game wherever I see it and I'm going to destroy the goddamn disc.
Make sure to record it.
Do even better. I'll probably make a music video out of it. Like, there is no excuse for that shit. Excuse me. So yeah, that's just that. All right. Well, on a side note with Marvel, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but we got a confirmation on the full game roster, which was literally exactly what we thought because, well, everybody had the fucking leak list. But we also got a confirmation, well, a hidden confirmation about the DLC characters, or at least most of them. Venom at some point, Winter Soldier at some point, Sigma, which is really on disc content because he's a fucking playable character already and it's total bullshit. How you gonna have Ultron playable and not Sigma and really expect us to think that he's day one DLC? No, bitch, he's already in the game. We're not stupid.
And if they try and do that shit, that'll be bull.
No,
that'll be some bullshit.
No, that's exactly what they're doing. Listen, Ultron and Sigma combined are the final boss of the game. But Ultron by himself is already playable in the game, unlockable. But you have to pay for Sigma because Sigma is day one DLC.
That's bullcrap.
It's bullshit. But you know, he's already on the fucking disc. You know, he's already finished and balanced correctly. They literally just wanted some day one DLC because they couldn't finish the other characters in time. And someone in upper management, aka corporate, decided, hey, make sure there's DLC. I'm like, bitch, you already have a version that comes with 4 goddamn figurines and the fucking Infinity Gems. Why the hell do you need to do this with Sigma? You already have your DLC and pre-order bonus shit. Give them the season pass. Leave Sigma out of this shit. But nah, fuck that.
Well, guess there'll be another game I won't be getting.
Well, Sigma's the only one that's on this DLC. Everybody else is characters that literally aren't finished. So, oh yeah, and the last one was Black Panther. And supposedly, much like with Street Fighter vs. Tekken, if this game sells well, or really the DLC sells well, they'll be the first wave. Not to mention, they specifically said a season pass. Anyways, yeah. And unfortunately, I'm getting a $200 edition, but hey, worst case scenario, I'm going to get my money back because I will sell those little action figures piecemeal. I will sell them one at a time on eBay until I get over 200 and go from there, to be honest.
Give it enough time and people will pay some pretty good money for those.
Yeah, not to mention it comes with official Infinity Gems. Not, oh, here's a glowing rock made in China that we just called the Infinity Gem because we can't get fake Final Fantasy VII glowing materia to sell it right now. No, I mean, these are actually called Infinity Gems. So, there's that. Now, on to the other bit of business, or let's go into the news topics. Go ahead and tell us what you found, sir.
Well, it would seem that former writer at Valve, who left last year it seems, revealed what many believe is plot Half-Life 2 Episode 3 on his personal website. And everyone is losing their shit over it. Some people are saying oh, I guess this means we're never going to get the game. Others think it's, well, as far as I see it, the game was dead like at least a decade ago. No, actually, no, not a decade ago. About, I'd give it 5 years ago.
Okay.
So, I mean, yeah, their Valve isn't going to be making any more Half-Life, as far as I see it. So this guy comes out, releases this information, and everyone loses their collective minds over it. I honestly think it's kind of silly, though, because the game was dead a long time ago. But hey, at least it's nice to know what it could have been before it was gotten rid of.
Okay.
I didn't really look into it myself, and, well, I'm sure if people look into it, they can find it. They'll most have already, to be honest.
I think Half-Life 2 came out when I was 14. Now, it seemed cool. I didn't like a lot of first-person shooters because this is back when, you know, Call of Duties were truly starting to take over everything, and it was really just depressing. I didn't hate the games, but the lack of creativity is what bothered the fuck out of me.
Yup, it was all the same.
Yeah, and with varying differences, and then the differences people would tell me about were so slight. I'm just like, dude, what the fuck? That means nothing. Oh, well, this gun does this, plus when you kill this many people, it'll do that. Like, so it doesn't actually do anything new.
Yup.
So
what's wrong with having all these fantasy weapons that do this really crazy shit? And is it bad of me to prefer first shooters from that era? Where the guns did like super crazy shit?
No, not really. Yeah. Variety is the spice of life, and unfortunately, Activision has never valued that spice. Now that being said, okay, so fucking, for me, what it is that I actually thought about getting this game because, well, it was a first-person adventure game from what I looked like. Not necessarily, oh, hey, we're going to load you in this stage. Here, go here, kill this, mission completed, cutscene. Okay, guess what? Go to this area that is completely unconnected. There's no hub world. Just go point A to B, from point A to point B. That's what I thought. And then here comes Half-Life to say, hey, fuck all that shit. Here's a good story. Here's a good game. Physics engine, bitch. Ragdoll for that ass. And like one of the first times where it was used, if memory serves, or at least the first time where people openly talked about ragdoll physics. And then I want to say 2010. I remember hearing / seeing, why have you forsaken us, Valve? We all want Half-Life 3. And I think to myself, you know what? I'm not going to put myself in that situation. And I'm kind of glad I didn't, because, well, look at what it's doing now. Like, people still want it. It still has value and interest because they forgot how PC gaming works, even though all they do is fucking PC games. People will mod the shit out of everything.
And even create their own original content.
I promise.
And both original content and quote-unquote original content. You know what I mean?
Not really, but I promise you, I fucking promise you that before this year is over, someone's probably gonna start working on a Half-Life 3 mod based on the shit that he's telling people. Promise you. Now that being said, that's pretty interesting, though. Does he tell you, or if you can pull up the link, is it telling you what type of story it was gonna be involved, or what happens to Gordon in the end?
It looks to be a bit, at least the link that I found was a bit limited in what it gave.
So what does it say?
Let's see here. After the funeral of Eli Vance, Gordon and Alex fly to the Antarctic in search of the Borealis, with members of the Resistance in tow. Gordon and Alex's plane is shot down, but they manage to reach the research vessel, only to discover Combine have wrecked the massive base around the Borealis. Borealis phasing in and out of existence. Combine are studying it when it materializes, or studying whenever it materializes. Huh. So, sounds like you're going to be going in the Antarctic. Frozen land. Huh. Kind of cool.
Interesting.
And, the Combine's homeworld protected by a Dyson sphere. Shit.
What's a Dyson sphere?
A Dyson sphere is essentially you create a gigantic constructed space that completely surrounds a star and its
that
planets
thing
around it.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, it's that thing. People, it's a theoretical device because there are some stars that we randomly find where something is rotating around them that completely blocks out their light, and they think it might be, and they think it might be a ring. I was like, and to be honest, I kind of want to know what the fuck that's, because that is very unusual. There's no star that just fades from one section going across in a rotation. Something has to be doing that. And if it's a, sentient being made structure, shit, that's just scary.
Yup. Because at that point, they're harnessing the power of the star and, like, shit, that's some crazy shit right there. They could be super advanced compared to us.
Yeah. Man, one of life's many mysteries, like who the fuck was raising Naruto as a child?
Oh,
God. I still can't figure that shit. Like, the fucking third Hokage and Kakashi are in this motherfucker's house. One, he can just break and enter because he's the fucking Hokage. And
they're ninjas.
It was broad daylight, and there was no one there to talk to him about Naruto, what type of person he is. I'm like, who adopted him? Did he get adopted? How the fuck was this little bastard just alone?
How indeed. But hey, who knows? The Shadow knows.
The internet knows. Naruto's been living on his own.
The fanfic writers know.
Naruto's been living on his own since he was basically fucking like 7. Sarutobi just gives him a monthly expense allowance, pays for where he lives, apparently, which is fucking stupid.
Okay, actually I can kind of see that. Oh well. But yeah, that's the news I found.
Okay, well, as far as me, I got a silver lining and some beautiful, beautiful shit. Almost made me want to cry. Not really. What the fuck? That's a terrible username for Discord. For those mini Super Nintendo fans out there, which is like 90% of the gamers ever. 2 big companies, but I can only remember one name. Maybe you can find the other. Have decided to forego internet pre-orders or sales on the internet for mini Super Nintendos and have said, hey bitch, just get your ass over here. One of these stores is fucking Toys R Us.
Really?
Yeah. So the day of release, September 29th. I'll say again, September 29th. Your ass better have a fucking toilet. Your ass better have a fucking tent and some covers, because it's probably going to be cold that night or day. And you need to camp the fuck out in front of Toys R Us. They're going to be $80. There's no per person limit or per household limit. And you know, the minute you put them bitches up on the internet, you're going to get 3-4 times that value.
Huh.
So yeah. Good luck. Good fight.
May fortune ever be in your favor.
Yeah, because you know that shit's going to be like fucking Black Friday. The minute them doors open. Oh, we only had 5. Oh, there's 48 people camping. Somebody going to fight somebody. Like, real talk. Somebody is going to go after somebody. Also, in other news I found, well, this is more along the lines of the hype train, or at least the Dragon Ball train. Dragon Ball Fighters may actually be released in 4K, or may have a 4K edition. So I know people are gonna like that. Also, well, for the first time, I think pretty much ever, or at least in the past 20 to 30 years, outside of someone who wasn't even really a superhero, a Marvel superhero, or I guess technically an augmented hero, has died in the Marvel landscape. We just lost Black Widow. But what really gets people is who she was killed by. Black Widow recently was killed by Captain America. Fuck yeah! With his with his shield, he snapped and shattered her neck and stabbed her with his shield. And for the record, when I say Captain America, I mean the white one, not the black one, because apparently there's 2 now.
So is this the same Captain America that's now apparently an agent of Hydra?
Yeah.
Oh, so that non-canon bullshit. Got it.
No, you know it's canon. Accept it. You must.
No, it's not. It's its own contained story that's not going to end up mattering in the end, and is only being done to get oohs, ahs, and sales.
Well, luckily, or at least apparently no one told you, but that's opinion, not fact, because the problem they're having is that people are shitting on them for this story because you can't do that to Captain America. Captain America can only work one way, and that's the way we want him to work. He's supposed to be working in a limited, the writer's supposed to work in a limited creativity box. Yeah. So they actually have been trying to convince people, please, just let us finish this story. It's a good story. It is canon, and the story will matter. But I know what you're talking about. There's a name for it. I think they call it the superhero cycle, where they make it look like something new happened, but really it's going to end with them going back to the old shit. No, this isn't that. And spoiler warning.
No, I'm not even talking about that. I'm just saying this is another story that in the end people are either like it or hate it, but it's just going to be another story before eventually things get rebooted again. So, and
you're
whatever.
You're thinking about DC, but no. Also, there's weight to this shit because the way he's designed. Hold on. The way he's designed, this story in particular, spoiler warning, is going to have ramifications. 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, so basically, what happened about year and a half ago, his history or reality that he's aware of got rewritten, but not the actual reality. Like him as a person, he got rewritten, right? Which is why he's like the way he is right now, and thinks he's all for that Hydra shit. But here's the thing, he is just a different person. He's another Captain America, But instead of being from an altered dimension, he's an altered history, Captain America. But here's the thing. He's done some fucked up shit in the Marvel landscape to the point where, well, society has almost restructured itself specifically around his commands. And as you know, the bitch is with Hydra. So what's going to happen is all the old heroes, or the heroes that could kick his ass, that he literally kicked off the planet in secret and tried to sacrifice them, those heroes are literally fucking, well, hopefully they're gonna come back and kick his ass one day, but they're completely removed off of the board. And to top it off, 90% of this shit only happened because of another hero who started and initiated most of this shit, and it happened to be Captain Marvel. So, yeah. So, even if this shit is fixed, the image of everyone in the entire world, let alone America, is gonna have of Captain America, even though it's a different Captain America, is gonna be forever fucked up. Because when that Captain America shows up, fights this other Captain America, well, even if he wins, his image is fucked up. So, yeah. And also, the little girl or living piece of the cosmic cube that fucked him up also fucked up Winter Soldier and went and made a good guy version of the Red Skull come back to life that was dead. So
it's just ridiculous.
No, it's not. But they're removed from the playing field, so people don't even know that they exist. They put them in the back of the issue because no one even knows that they're dead or alive, because they see these duplicates and they don't know that they're not the originals. So even when they get found out and shit goes back to, one Captain America, one Winter Soldier, one Red Skull, everybody's going to be fucked up. Red Skull's going to be fucked up because his entire organization betrayed him and backstabbed him and let Captain America fucking kill him. Which is new for villains, because 90% of the time when they run an organization, the organization doesn't try to kill him. So this opened a new door for storytelling for Marvel. Captain America is now going to be considered one of the most hated people in the Marvel universe. Not from the fans, but in continuity. So there's no telling what might happen to him as a character or just as a man in the story.
True.
And Winter Soldier is just, well, he's Winter Soldier. So quite literally, he could go back to doing whatever the fuck he was doing and no one would care or notice because he's Winter Soldier.
Yep.
So this one is going to carry some weight.
I mean, they're free to do whatever they want with the plot, but if the fans don't like it, the fans don't like it, and if they don't buy it, well, can't force them.
Yeah, but they're not going to change the story or alter shit, unlike DC. Just to fucking, just to appease them.
We'll see in due time.
No. They said it. Like, look, we're not going to fucking just drop this story, pretend this shit didn't happen just to appease you guys. Let us finish the story. And then here's what happened. 4 issues into it, they're saying it's one of the best books Marvel is writing right now. Don't get your Marvel and your DC. I know they look alike, but you peel back one layer and you'll find a plethora of differences. Now, I didn't read it because, well, everyone told me about it, but I don't know if you remember the concept of New 52.
I'm well aware of that stupid shit.
Well, see, there you go. They did that stupid shit on purpose. They put somebody in charge who didn't know dick about comics, and it was garbage. And even if it wasn't garbage, it didn't matter because no one was happy with it other than Batman. But that's because, like always, and it makes no damn sense, Batman is in some type of limbo where he's supposed to be one continuity in the Justice League and all this shit, but every time some shit go down, they're never in the story. So Batman was damn near untouched. That's how you know you're Batman. You're so Batman that people legit don't even fucking notice No, you don't even get phased by everything in your entire fucking comic book corporation's lineup, pretty much, except you getting shitted on.
Yo. But oh well.
That is hilarious. Like, I mean it. Like, and you actually use the "cause I'm Batman" behind it, and it would make sense. Well, how come every book was fucked up damn near except Batman? Cause he's Batman. Oh man, that makes me want to go see the Lego movie. Or re-see the Lego movie. I fucking love that shit. Like, they had some adult jokes in there that no one caught. Like, they basically called the Joker gay in the first 20 minutes. Oh man, I was laughing my ass off.
It was hilarious.
Well, okay, Jay Bird. Like, they did not just do that in the kids' movie. Anyways, all right, on to our final bit of news, or at least what I consider the final bit of news. I want to phrase this right because I don't want to give away too much. Okay, so me and a couple of the teammates are planning a Marvel vs. Capcom history review, which I'm still not sure if that's the correct way to phrase it. Basically, we're going to review every single Marvel vs. Capcom game, give a little bit of history leading up into the fucking leading up into the new game, and we're also going to review the new game because, well, one, I got the $200 edition, and the day of it, shitty as it may or may not be, it has a history with me and a lot of my friends, so we're having a bit of a chill party and whatnot, where we're going to just sit around, eat food, drink shit, and play the game. Also, you're welcome to come if you want to. Hold on a second after. I have a, well, here comes a new challenger, so to speak. Let me see how to do the thingy. Okay, had to send out an invite just now. We have a new member, and well, let me just say right now, he is not a replacement for Hill in any way, shape, or form. But for those of you who are wondering where he's been for the, well, or why he wasn't at this particular podcast, Hill has gone on his first deployment in the military. As most of you figured out or guessed just by assumption, I was in the military. In fact, I'm in the middle of re-enlisting to a different branch, mind you. He's going on his first deployment. He's in Kuwait for 60 days, and he'll be back. So getting him on the podcast might be, one, next to fucking impossible, two, tricky business, or three, quite literally, fucking, whatchamacallit, not so much impossible as it is extremely hard, given the fact that his time zone is so dramatically different from everyone else's currently right now. So I went around and fished for new people. Now, one of those new people is also was in the military, but he ain't going back in. And he goes by the name Military Devil, and I had to get him situated throughout today because he's not new to the internet or utilizing it, but he's new to Discord. Matter of fact, he just made his account about 20 minutes ago.
That's pretty new.
Yeah. So I have to make sure I teach him the proper ways, or at least the best ways to do shit. Jump into the TokenGames page. You should see the button for it on the left. Black and the red logo. see if I can get him to come in and do a light introduction. And if I can't, I'm going to just call him. And when I call him, try to throw you in, you know, have you also let him know how we do on the podcast, because I'm sure you realize by now we're pretty chill. I don't give you guys a lot of restrictions other than, you know, don't make a death threat unless it's to a Bieber or a Kardashian, because people will automatically know those are satirical. Yeah. And if you're not gonna curse, I'm not gonna stop you, but don't use stupid replacement words. Dude, this one time, like long time ago, like the first 2-3 podcasts, there's a motherfucker who would not say fuck. No one will force him to say fuck. There was no situation where anyone said please say fuck, and he would replace it with fudge. Fudge.
Okay.
I know. Okay, now we gotta teach him. Press the button that says TokenCast. Yeah. So one day I just told him, dude, will you say fuck, please? Please say fuck. And now I got a phone call. Hello? Yeah, pretty much. Did you need something else, or are you done with your bill stuff? Actually, no, I'm saying that's actually pretty beneficial, having a pillow. Although you do realize you could have just walked up here and fucking gave it to me. No, I'm saying yeah, you do. I'm saying the key. Will you let me fucking finish? No, the locks weren't changed. They actually fixed it. See, the key always worked, but the lock and the latch didn't work. That old key still works. In fact, I know because I've never actually used a new key, and they didn't give me a new key. They just made it so the lock actually works. Also, okay, yeah, well, just make sure you disinfect them keys, because that shit nasty. Still, I'd spray them bitches with Lysol. Alright, well, I'm coming down. Give me like 2-3 minutes, put on some pants. Okay, I got a free pillow. Sorry about that.
Oh dear, did you get one of those creepy anime body pillows?
No, I'm pretty sure you know by now I'm an actual adult, and I embrace the fact that I'm an adult. So there are things I don't do that a lot of people do that are fucked up, and body pillows is like near the top of my list of fucked up shit. Because half these people getting these body pillows are fucking older than me. Like, I'm not even joking, they're older than me. Half these people I see talking about the porn that they watch or the porn anime games they play, I'm like, bro, you realize the reason that this shit is only translated on bootleg sites isn't because they're taking too long to release in America. They're not going to, because everyone in here is a fucking child. That's why I can't really watch anime porn. It's not that I think porn is terrible and shit like that. There will always be nymphomaniacs. There will always be nymphomaniacs that don't want to get treated, talk to anybody. And there will always be shameless whores. That's just a fact of life. The only way to get rid of shit like that is if you literally cut those parts of their brain out. And how expensive is that? If you give them a pill, they don't have to take it. But at the same time, I'm not trying to, extort anyone or, condone and amplify the behavior by going and buying porn. In fact, I think I pretty much at this point refuse to buy porn. Not just because, well, it's a bad look. It's just, there's so much of it for free. What the fuck would the point be? There's literally that much porn.
Probably thousands of hours in various places of the internet.
No, here's the fucked up part we learned, I think it was about 6 years ago. There's 2 porn websites for every human being in America.
The fuck?
Yeah, we overproduced it. And even if we didn't overproduce it, we've overproduced porn search engines. Like, literally, we overproduced porn search engines. Because that's what half these websites are. They're not actually exclusive porn sites. They're share sites. They're websites that are holding porn that was already made.
Huh.
And Pornhub leads the charge. I think. I don't know. I'm not saying that because I don't want to admit I've never seen porn. Nah, I've seen porn before. I'm saying I think it's Pornhub just because Pornhub is the one that has the most national appeal / attention. So, yeah. Okay, come on, Jeff. Join the voice channel. Oh yeah, other than that little tidbit of why we're not gonna see Hill as much. Okay, here's a funny story about Nintendo that I'd left out before, and I don't think you got made aware of it. Tell me this ain't some fucked up shit.
Oh dear.
No, don't worry. It's not what you traditionally think of them. You know, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, or 5 steps forward, 2 steps back. Nintendo lost 2 of my Switches.
Oh my god, what?
Yeah. But because of that, I got 2 free video games, a Pro controller, and a new Switch.
Oh, looks like you won't be joining us.
Okay, well, hey. The whole point was to get him into the chat group. You know, welcome him into the fold, so to speak. Anyways, yeah, so here's what happened. Alright, so I didn't know this, but my Switch, because I don't live in a bad neighborhood, but I'm just not at a place where, you know, I'm aware of what I have. I don't like to pretend shit can't fuck up for me. Life has taught me that. No one owns or controls anything. Existentialism is not real. Dumbasses believe in existentialism because real people know existentialism is bullshit. So I don't go outside with my Switch a lot, right? So I started walking around the apartment one day. I just wanted to go in the kitchen and grab something, but I put the Switch out the bed. Guess what? The left Joy-Con would not stay locked in.
Oh dear.
But the right one would. So it wouldn't fall on the ground because I'm holding the right one and also the position I'm in. So I called Nintendo and say, hey, it's not damaged, never been dropped, but I don't know if it's the actual locking mechanism in the Switch or if it's the Joy-Con. Because first off, even buying a second Joy-Con specifically for the left is not exactly easy shit or cheap. So they said, hey, we're going to fix your shit for free. So the idiot that tried to mail it back to me forgot to put the actual number of the P.O. box on the P.O. box, right? So I have a Switch that is lost in USPS Carol Stream limbo. So after about 5 days of fucking around with me, I told them, they told me, oh, we're just going to give you a new one. Sweet. They gave me a new one. Guess what? It came from their warehouse broke. The actual charging port on the inside couldn't charge. So it looked like it worked until I realized I couldn't charge this bitch up. Came from the Nintendo factory broke. Not the distributor, the factory broke. I know because it had a letter of approval saying this came directly from the factory. So yeah, I also now know the location of Nintendo's warehouse / factory. Not factory. I know the location of their Nintendo American warehouse now, which I'm not going to say over this. But I send that back to them. Then they tell me send them all the other parts to the other Switch that I shouldn't even had to have sent them. So they send me that back. They send me out another one, and for my trouble, they say, "Hey, how'd you like a free game code?" I was like, "Shit, okay, what you got?" And that's how I got ARMS. But now I don't have a system to play it on. So I tell them, hey Nintendo, look, let me give you a different fucking address. Let me give you a physical address. See, I don't live in the hood, but I have assholes in my apartment. Somebody stole school supplies from a parent that was buying it for her child entering 1st grade.
That shit ain't right.
They had to put up notes and signs all in the building just to let people know, look, we're not going to call the cops if you give it back. Which is total bullshit, because I would fucking call the cops and beat ass. And I never found out if they even got it back. That's how fucking trifling people are. We have no mail security is basically what I'm getting at. So Get it mailed to what's basically a friend of the family at this point. And they lost the first Pro Controller because apparently UPS doesn't mail the P.O. boxes, and they sent the Pro Controller to a P.O. box, which I fucking told them not to do again because I was scared of them fucking it up. But here's the thing. UPS don't tell people they don't deliver to a P.O. box. So you know what they did? They looked up addresses for me on file instead of calling me the fuck up or calling Nintendo up to let them know, hey, we don't know where to put it. So they sent it to my old address at my old house that I grew up in. No one lives in that house, and I haven't lived in that house for 5 years. There's not even curtains or furniture in the house, and you can see it from the fucking street.
That's pretty fucked up.
Yeah. And here's the fucked up part. When I called UPS about it, they wouldn't tell me where the package was dropped. I'm like, are you fucking shitting me? I'm the one it was for. So I tell Nintendo, getting a little pissed about this shit. So they decide to send me another Switch, give me another Pro Controller, and give me another free game. So now I have a Nintendo Switch, I now have ARMS, and I now have Kirby Planet Robo for free.
Well, at least they showed that they cared.
That shit took a month. That shit took a month.
Oh, well.
Yeah, but hey, the chances of some crazy shit happen like this again, next to none. So, not that
you
man.
would think.
Hey, man, don't jinx me, man. Don't jinx me.
I'm not jinxing. I'm just saying, you never know.
That is so true. All right, well, with that being said, any closing statements for our wonderful 2.5 people in the audience?
Nah, not much really.
Okay. Well, in honor of Hill, I would just like to say, get bitches fuck money. Have a nice day.